Hey everyone. Over the last few months, I've been spending a lot of time looking at other ITSM platforms, ServiceNow, all of the platforms that were at Service Management World back in November 2024, and really looking at them through realistically, the only lens that I had at the time, which was the lens of Cherwell. Uh, a year ago, maybe even longer ago, I made at least one video, probably multiple videos, where I said that there really wasn't anything out there exactly like Cherwell. And then I doubled down on that in more recent videos. I even did a video a couple weeks ago about uh, specifically comparing ServiceNow and Cherwell and talking about how I thought Cherwell was vastly superior technology. But even that wasn't enough to stop the execution engine that was ServiceNow, that absolutely captured the market over the last 20 years. But in this video, I wanted to take kind of a different angle. Um, Obviously, Cherwell is going away. There's nothing we can do about that. So what what are we to do if you want something that is as similar as possible to Cherwell? Well, I hate to break it to you, but so far, the closest I found to Cherwell is ServiceNow. And I want to get into both how that is and why that is over the next few minutes. Probably way too many minutes, but we'll see how long it goes. So first up, how is that the case? Well, first of all, both ServiceNow and Cherwell are completely customizable. You can do anything you want in either platform. Um, yes, Cherwell is specifically no code, and ServiceNow is uh, not. You do write code. You can write CSS, you can write HTML, you can write JavaScript. In some cases, you have to write HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Um, so they took fundamentally different approaches to how you do your customization. But the fact of the matter is that when you're building out your system, you have complete freedom, complete flexibility. You can build whatever you want. It's why over the last couple of weeks, ServiceNow has been talking about getting into the CRM space, and that's not new. Made some moves, I think, last year to get into that space. And I also made a video about how that's not really CRM. It's not CRM in the same way that Salesforce is CRM, but realistically it's both of those tools actually. Salesforce is very customizable as well. Both of those tools are designed so that you can build whatever you want, whatever tool you want. If you really wanted it to be a true CRM for your sales people, you could absolutely build a true CRM in ServiceNow, just like you could absolutely build a true CRM in Cherwell. Both are completely customizable. They make no assumptions or very little assumptions about the use cases that you're using the platform for. Um, Cherwell, I think at one point had a few assumptions that you might have something called incident in the system. Um, that was kind of an accident. It wasn't supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be completely flexible. You could build a service management tool. You could build a CRM. You could build potentially you could even really build like a content management system, right? The portal was flexible enough that you could build whatever you wanted. And ServiceNow is that way as well. Um, Now, of course, I already mentioned the differences being that ServiceNow is very code heavy and Cherwell is specifically low code, but those are fundamentally different than most of the other platforms out there. Most of the other platforms, and I would say all of the other ones that I evaluated are specifically service management tools. Yes, some of them started with asset management and added service management on afterward, but their service management components are specifically service management components. There are inherent features, inherent names, inherent data structures specifically designed for ITIL or ITSM in general, whether you follow ITIL or not. Um, generally built around the ideas of incident management and change management and problem management and those sorts of things, um, with some customizability tacked on, built on. Um, so you have kind of your expected base implementation, and then plus some customizability. And that's where we get into the philosophical difference between Cherwell and ServiceNow on the one side, and all of the other platforms on another side. It's whether it was a platform first on which an ITSM tool was built, or an ITSM tool first on which customizability was built. And those are fundamentally different approaches. Um, I would even go so far as to say if you start on one side, you probably can't go to the other side. It doesn't work. You can't well, I guess if you start with from the platform perspective, you could certainly start building, um, essentially hard-coded functionality into a platform. It just wouldn't feel very platform-like anymore. You're basically making a conscious decision to go to the other side and being in kind of this dual world. But if you start from something that's pretty hard-coded, you have a concept of incident and it has specific fields, and then the additional customizability is limited to X, Y, and Z, it is really, really difficult to go from that perspective to the platform side. Eventually, you are going to hit a wall. You are going to hit get to a place where you just can't sustain any additional customizability. It becomes too taxing to your users. It becomes too costly to maintain because you're dealing with so many permutations. The only way to successfully do what Cherwell and ServiceNow are doing is to do it from the very beginning, is to start from a building block mentality where everything is a platform. Everything is built on top of the platform. And in the cases of both Cherwell and ServiceNow, and I'm not sure that this is necessary, strictly necessary, but in the case of both Cherwell and ServiceNow, even their like system tables are defined in terms of their building blocks. And that specifically is what enables them to be able to do anything you might want them to do, anything you could possibly imagine. And I don't know if this is the case for ServiceNow. I certainly hope so if they plan to be around for a long time. It was the case for Cherwell for a long time, and then there were some struggles. It wasn't always the case. But as long as everything new that you build adheres to that building block mentality and treats the platform like a platform, there is no end to what you could possibly build. Anything is possible. Anything continues to be possible. And the easy things become really easy to implement. Even the hard things become super easy to implement because they're just new combinations of the same building blocks you've been using, you've been building. And that's ultimately why Farewell is so flexible, can be used for so many different IT departments of all shapes and sizes, different types of companies, different types of organizations, profits, nonprofits, um, I guess for profits, nonprofits, and large companies, small companies. It really does scale to the size of the company. There were some technical challenges with Cherwell, um, but the concept, the philosophy scales. Similarly with ServiceNow, of course, the one thing you're going to run into with ServiceNow is its pricing model. Its pricing model absolutely scales, and and it doesn't scale in the way that you want it to scale, unfortunately. But you can do anything you did in Cherwell, mostly anything you could do in Cherwell in ServiceNow. Yes, there are some features and functionality that ServiceNow doesn't provide for, like pixel perfect layout of forms and that sort of thing. But functionally, the things you can build on ServiceNow, uh, you can build at least as much on ServiceNow as you could on Cherwell. The same can't be said for any other platform. I think I would even have to say that Avanti, even though there are distinct similarities between Avanti and Cherwell, Avanti also started from a relatively hard-coded platform, and the platform aspects, the customizability aspects, were added on afterward. So again, you're going to run into a wall. There is going to be a limit to what you can do with the platform. It's never going to provide the same level of flexibility as a true platform can provide. So again, like I said at the beginning, hate to break it to you, but ServiceNow probably is the best option if you're looking at it strictly from the perspective of, can we build whatever we want? In most cases, the answer is going to be no. You can't build whatever you want. Depending on your requirements, you might be able to find a platform where you can build everything you need and potentially everything you want as well, but you won't be able to build, arbitrarily whatever you want unless you go with a true platform. And again, it pains me to say it. ServiceNow is the only one that I found out there that truly allows you to do that. Uh, Obviously, without writing a lot of custom code to fundamentally change how the platform works. Right? Obviously, with ServiceNow, you're going to be writing some code for the UI, but it's built on top of the platform. Sorry. Um, Let me know your thoughts. If you agree with me, give it a like. If you disagree with me, give it a dislike. If you have thoughts, comments, want to talk about your experiences using Cherwell versus ServiceNow, leave a comment down below. If you want to talk more about this, you can always come to the Cortex users group every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We hold a Zoom call. You can get a link to that in the video description. And we can talk more about this, or you can talk about Cortex or Cherwell or ServiceNow. Um, as you can tell, I really enjoy talking about this stuff, and I'd love to be able to talk about it with you all. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this, find us other places and subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.